Good evening and welcome to all our viewers. An exciting match today, the Punjab Kings versus the Rajasthan Royals, live from the Wankhede Stadium. And I have with me a very special guest for the first time in our show with Sports Adda. We have Paras. Hi, Paras.
Hi Yash, pleasure to be here.
You're most welcome, Paras. And what do you have to say about this match? Because it's the first time you're here with us as an expert. And what do you think of this match between the Punjab Kings and the Rajasthan Royals?
Well, firstly, I just want to say that there's going to be a tough contest. The lineups that both team possesses is excellent, and the balance also for both teams seems to be very fine. Yes.
Yes, and what about the Wankhede, the beautiful Wankhede Stadium? What do you have to say about this ground, this venue, with the kind of breeze going from east to west? The seaside makes it, the dew factor come into consideration later on in the game. Also, the fact that the boundaries are also really short. But something about this game, what do you think? How the ground will have an effect on these two teams as the game goes forward?
Well, about Wankhede, it's a historic ground. Firstly, to begin with. Secondly, it's going to be a run fest again. As you know, Wankhede, the pitch is on the faster side, irrespective of how long the boundaries are. Anyone, even with a half-hearted shot, can clear the 30-yard circle. So I believe a lot of runs are going to be scored today evening.
Surely, I also feel the same way. A lot of runs are going to be scored, just like you said and pointed it out. The toss has been done. From what I know, is Rajasthan Royals have won the toss. Sanju Samson, the first time has won the toss. The first time, lucky guy, and has elected to bowl first. So, is it a good decision on this pitch, Paras?
Well, I truly feel that this decision is based upon the recent history. Anyone who's chasing here has managed to chase down the score with ease, except for the first match. Irrespective of who wins the toss and chooses what you need to play well on each given day. And Sanju Samson is stuck onto the same formula of wanting to chase down a score. And let's see what happens.
A good point you made, but to correct you, the first match was pretty easily chased because Delhi Capitals played the Chennai Super Kings, and it was a run fest on both the ends. And the team that was chasing, well, they clearly chased it, keeping like 8 to 9 balls in spare. So you were right about it that chasing is easy on this pitch, and it's going to be quite easy if Rajasthan Royals bat second with the batting order they have. It's going to be amazing to see the match ahead of us, right?
Well, that's correct. Chasing here,
Has to be very easy. Very true. Also, moving on, KL Rahul captaining the first time in this IPL. He had a lot of success with the bat last season. This year, talking about last couple of months, he was up and down. Got 100 in the one-day series, but the T20 series was not that great for him. How much of an impact does this kind of a batsman or a match winner like him have on Kings 11 Punjab and how they go about in a batting perspective?
well, with regards to KL Rahul, he's been fantastic when it comes to the IPL. I know he ran into a slump of form in the T20 series against England, but he did relatively well with regards to the one day series. And when it comes to KL Rahul and Wankhede, he's got a very rich history of scoring runs at this venue. And this sort of a pitch does suit him very, very well.
Something about his captaincy, Paras. What do you think he should do this season? Thinking that Punjab hasn't qualified for a playoff in quite a while, so it is a responsibility for KL Rahul to firstly score runs, secondly to make sure that his team enters the playoffs for the least, and then how it goes. So, what kind of a decision does KL Rahul have to take as a captain, Paras?
Well, talking about KL Rahul's captaincy, there isn't much to discuss about. Reason being the slump of wickets that have fallen in a heap in the
Yeah.
previous season is what has been their downfall. I still remember the first 3-4 matches in the beginning. Punjab really barely lost by a very small margin. So, with regards to his batting, he was the highest run getter in the previous season, achieving the orange cap. So there's nothing to discuss about it with his batting. But as a team, as a whole unit, the shuffling that they've done with the recent purchases of players as well is going to play a huge role.
Something about the youngsters that Kings 11 has in the batting lineup. If you talk about the Punjab batting lineup, Punjab Kings, I'm sorry, I'm so used to talking about the Kings 11. It's going to take a while. So the Punjab
Yes.
Kings, The Punjab Kings have a formidable batting lineup down with Chris Gale as the the hitter, the universe boss as we all know him. Nicholas Puran as well. Last year he had a couple of good innings in the mid of the IPL, and also they had Sarfaraz Khan, but they have uh, uh, who do they have now? They have Shah Rukh Khan as
I'll
well.
give you I'll give you a quick heads up with regards to how Punjab's batting is going to pan out. I personally feel it's going to revolve around four players. First being KL Rahul, second being Mayank Agarwal,
Yeah,
third being Nicholas Puran, and fourth being Chris Gale. The other people who will be shuffling in or get shuffled out will have to play around them. Although they have a lot of young players representing them this season, for the likes of Shah Rukh Khan to also do well, he needs a base. So if they have a positive start and he comes in at what, five down or four
yeah,
down, he
yeah.
gets his plate ready, full, and the type of player and the buzz that's built around him is, let's see how he delivers. He's a hard hitting batsman, right?
Yes, he's played for Tamil Nadu and he has performed really well recently. Has come down lower down the order and has backed huge sixes and has built a reputation for him. So it'll be an interesting debut for him today. Moving on to Sanju
True.
Samson's captaincy, like we saw in the second game of this IPL, Delhi Capitals have made Rishabh Pant the captain this year in the absence of Shreyas Iyer, and now with Sanju Samson being given the captaincy, how will he go about this IPL? Because last year he was going all guns blazing. He used to go from right the first ball. He had no pressure on him. But now as captaincy, you get this burden. You feel a responsibility. So what role would Sanju Samson be playing in this playing 11 and in this batting order?
Sanju Samson is firstly an excellent player, irrespective of where he bats and when he bats.
Yeah.
Secondly, the captaincy would not be termed as a burden because the management trusts in Sanju Samson to deliver and accept this responsibility of guiding the other 10 men on the park. Apart from this, when it comes to his previous season, just want to give you a heads up. The runs he scored were 375 at a strike rate of 160 plus. So the positivity that is there in his approach is excellent. And I'm sure a person like him, when he bats well, or just the influence that he has on the team, forces other to match up and do well as well.
He has this calm look on his face at all times. I've seen him play for the national team as well. He's pretty calm and he's pretty composed and relaxed. The composure that he possesses when he's batting, it's commendable with these youngsters. And Sanju Samson is right up there when it comes to a great T20 batsman.
True that. He's one of the finest in India. He's been regularly featuring for the Indian cricket team in the T20 format. Uh, you know, it's very difficult for us to judge him now because he's young in the international circuit. But all of
Yeah.
us know how his domestic performances have been. So, judging upon that, we can term and come to a conclusion that he's a fantastic player.
And I've seen a few quarantine videos of Josh Butler here, and it's going to be very amazing, and it's going to be interesting to watch this guy bat because he's a brilliant batsman, one of the best T20 batsmen in the world at the moment. And the way he batted against India as well, he showed that he is ready, and now coming into the IPL, playing on similar wickets, he is going to definitely be a player to watch out for in this team. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Josh Butler, a big name in the international circuit, gets to play for a team which is totally dependent on him to provide a decent start. The runs that he scores are in minimal balls. His team presence is very, very positive. And as you just portrayed it with regards to Sanju Sanson having a very common and a very straight face. The same applies for Josh Butler as well. Yeah, I've never seen him angry or throwing emotion on the field. He's here to play, and that is what he does best. Yes.
Absolutely. Very well put there, Paras. And also the IPL history between these two teams and in general the two teams, they've had ups and downs. Although I feel Rajasthan has been a bit more successful in the head-to-head comparison. Rajasthan has won an IPL and they've qualified for playoffs a couple of times. But Punjab as well, they've always invested in youngsters. They've always felt that they need to take a team that believes in the youngsters, not the experience more, but the youth. And something about that, Paras, what do you think about how this history has panned out between these two teams?
Well, as you rightly stated, Rajasthan has won a trophy. That was in the
Yeah,
inaugural part of the IPL.
yeah.
Since then, they haven't really managed to live up to the expectation. And also, with regards to Punjab, every year we see that a lot is expected off of them. Although in the recent couple of years, they've managed to reach the finals, but not go all the way. And just one other point I would want to put through is both of these teams haven't really had the best of the starts when it comes to at the beginning of each IPL season. Although Punjab, as I before stated, had a tough luck in the previous season, they really haven't really had a string of wins to secure themselves. Both of these teams have always been seen at the struggling point of wanting to stay alive in this tournament most of the years, that is.
That is very well said, Paras, because that is an insight that almost everyone agrees to. These two teams have great potential and have had these brilliant players come across in all these years, right from Paul Walthati to now, Sanju Samson for Rajasthan. They've had some great batsmen and great history, but it will be amazing to see how this year pans out for these two teams. Quickly, an
True.
interesting update has come up. Jofra Archer is not going to be playing, and
Oh, okay.
how do you take such a big burden on yourself being a Chris Morris or a Jaydev Unadkat, knowing that Jofra Archer, the man who will give you and back 4 overs so well, he bowls in the middle and in the death especially. How much of an
True.
impact would this have on the game as it pans out through the 20 overs?
Well, with regards to Jofra Archer, he's currently the best bowler in the international circuit. Anyone who bowls 145 plus, and irrespective of the pitch being on the slower side, he's got a couple of variations up his sleeve. So, with regards to Jofra Archer not being a part of this Rajasthan Royals camp for this particular match, is going to be a big dent. And if at all others are requested to cover and fill in the shoes and provide the spacing with regards to controlling runs, is going to be very very difficult. So Jofra Archer is not only a bowler as of now as we speak, he's a very hard hitting late order batsman. You can't term him as a tail ender. So he's completely effective in this format.
He is a pinch hitter, as you rightly said. He is a pinch hitter, and also a lot of youngsters I see in the two teams. They've vested in a lot of youth this year. Something about
Yes.
them stands out. All these years they've invested in youth. Like I said earlier, what do you feel? Is it good in the future? Like, is it a good investment to have pay for youngsters and make them play, make sure that they are going on the right track, and make sure that players like Shahrukh, Ravi Bishnoi, and all these players. What do you think, Paras?
Well, firstly, a big salute to both of these teams as over the years we've seen a lot of youngsters have been getting chances to represent them. And with regards to the name that you just took, Ravi Bishnoi is a standout. He was the highest wicket taker for India in the Under 19 World Cup. And the mentor that he has, Anil Kumble, is also going to help him better. We talk about leg spinners in general. The older they get, the better they are. Ravi Vishnu is at the moment very young, although the googlies that he possesses in his armory are very very sharp. So over the years, I'm sure we'll see more of Ravi Bishnoi. And with regards to Shah Rukh Khan, the name itself is a standout. You know who comes to mind when we take this name. So that's the first advantage that this player has. Apart from
So
this, the batting that he possesses is compared with Kyron Pollard. So anyone who compares a batsman with Pollard, that it's a given that he's a hard-hitting batsman. As I said, if Punjab gives him something to work around with, rather than a struggling period where he comes down 20 for 3, we will not be able to see his natural game. So if they get a good start, yes, please.
quickly to sum it up, I'm so sorry we just dragged this a bit too long. The match is going to start anytime. One
Sure.
last question, Paras. Who do you think is going to win? What is going to be the perfect score on this pitch for Punjab to defend?
I think anywhere in between 180 to 200 is defendable. And I personally feel that Punjab is going to take this away tonight.
So you're backing Punjab. That's an interesting thing to do, Paras. So thank you very much for joining, Paras, and thank you all our
Most welcome.
viewers. And we'll be joining you all in the mid show. So enjoy the first innings.
Pleasure.